Have you ever walked into a crowded mall, a packed subway, or a busy restaurant and felt your chest tighten? That sudden urge to leave, to find space, to breathe? You're not dramatic, you're not antisocial, and you're definitely not alone. Welcome. You're about to feel very seen. There's a friend you know, maybe it's you, who avoids concerts, skips festivals, and says no to Black Friday shopping like their life depends on it. Society calls them boring, a hermit, someone who doesn't know how to have fun. But science calls something else entirely. Here's the thing, people who hate crowds aren't avoiding connection, they're protecting something, and that something is their nervous system. Psychologists call this sensory overload sensitivity. When you're in a crowded space, your brain is processing hundreds of inputs every second, voices overlapping, bodies brushing past, smells mixing, lights flashing, movement everywhere. For some people, their brain filters this out easily. But for others, every single input registers. Every sound, every touch, every smell hits with full force. It's not weakness, it's how their brain is wired. And here's what that means. Their nervous system has a lower threshold for stimulation. So while someone else might feel energized by the chaos, they feel drained, anxious, overwhelmed. But there's more going on than just sensory sensitivity. Crowds trigger something primal. Deep in your brain, in the amygdala, there's an ancient alarm system. It's designed to detect threats. And for thousands of years, large groups of unpredictable strangers meant danger. Your ancestors survived because they stayed alert in crowds, watching for aggression, theft, or disease. That instinct hasn't disappeared. It's still there, quietly scanning every face, every movement, every potential threat. Now, here's something wild. Studies show that people who avoid crowded places tend to be more introspective, more creative, and better at deep focus. Why? Because they've learned to seek environments where their brain can actually think. Crowds steal your mental space. They demand constant vigilance. But solitude, or small gatherings, that's where their ideas are born. That's where they recharge. And let's be honest, society romanticizes the crowded life. The packed parties, the festivals, the concerts. The you haven't lived until you've been in a mosh pit culture. But for some people, that's not living, that's surviving. Their best life looks different. Quiet cafes, small gatherings, nature trails, bookstores at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday, places where they can hear themselves think. And psychologists say this is called stimulus avoidance preference. It's not about hating people, it's about needing control over your environment. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Some people avoid crowds for a darker reason. Social anxiety, past trauma, depression that makes every public space feel like a stage where they're being judged. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Do you avoid crowds because they drain you, or because you're hiding from something deeper? One is a preference, the other is a signal. But for those who truly just hate the sensory chaos, the unpredictability, the invasion of personal space, you're not missing out. You're living differently. Your brain isn't built for noise and chaos. It's built for depth, for stillness, for spaces where you can breathe and think and exist without performing. That's not sad. That's self-awareness. And here's what most people don't realize. Avoiding crowds doesn't mean you're less social. It means you're selective. You'd rather have one deep conversation than 50 shallow ones. You'd rather feel connected in a quiet room than lost in a loud one. You're not broken. You're just wired for depth over noise, for peace over chaos, for stillness over stimulation. So next time someone asks why you don't want to go to that packed event, you can tell them, it's not that you hate people. It's that your brain works differently, and science backs you up. Because people like you exist best in spaces where you can actually hear yourself think, where the world doesn't demand constant reaction, where your nervous system can finally rest. That's not avoidance. That's self-care happening in real time. So if this sounds like you, If you've ever felt your chest tighten in a crowd, if you've ever chosen the quiet corner over the packed center, hit subscribe, because the psychology that most people never hear about themselves, that's what we do here. And if you want to understand why some people recharge in solitude while others need constant stimulation, the next video is going to hit you harder than this one. Click it. You'll understand why. Tell me, do you avoid crowds because they drain you, or is there something deeper going on? Drop your thoughts below.